Okay, we're back down to the start for the club version of this, the Thames Cup, with Star Club from Bedford on the left-hand side, the Berkshire Station, and the Lee Rowing Club from East London on the Buckinghamshire Station on the right-hand side in orange. And both crews gone off to really aggressive starts.
Yeah, exactly. Great to see a crew from Star Club, my alma mater, boating again in the Thames. They were 2011 finalists in the Thames Challenge Cup and of course won the Brit in 2012, so they had a lot of pedigree at the beginning of last decade. Fallen off the pace a little bit in club rowing, haven't had quite the depth and strength that they had before, but great to see them boating an 8 and out here competitively racing at the Henley Regatta. But looks like Lee have got the better of the opening sort of 20 strokes.
Yeah, they've moved out to about a third of a length, and again, it's probably too early to tell. They've got some good speed. The transition now is going to be important, isn't it, Tom?
Exactly, that transition down from the breakneck speed of the opening 20-30 strokes down to what we call a race rhythm, the cruise control, where you're going to sit for the remainder of the race until you sort of wind up for the finish. And that's so important, that transition. It's something that's actually vastly underappreciated in the skill that it requires to do that. But looks like Lee are having the better of it, certainly settling a little bit lower, a little bit more composed, and just trying to eke out clear water as they come up towards the barrier.
Yeah, the blades just seem to be in the water for longer, and just seems to be generating some speed for them. And here we move out further down the course. Bit of steering there from the Lee as they get out of the way, but the Lee seem to have clear water on Star Club.
And a word on the Star Club crew, they are a masters crew. None of them are of sort of traditional optimum club age, so fair play to them for getting an 8 out, and fair play to them to getting to the Wednesday and boating a competitive crew. I'm sure they'll be at the Henley Masters Regatta if and when that happens, trying to win some silverware. But they're here on the Wednesday of Henley Regatta. This might not have been their day, but it's been a great showing from those guys.
The Star Club have won. They won the Brit in 1986 and in 2012. They've won 4 times here, but those are the 2 club crews. They weren't composites in the Grand and that kind of stuff, which they had before. And they've won 7 times here, whereas the Lee, 5 wins, 2 in the Wyfolds, 2 in the Brit, and the last time they won was in 92 in the Thames.
Yeah, that Star crew that won the Brit in 2012, that was around the time that I was still sculling as a junior at Star, and they were an exceptional crew. They, as I said, they were finalists in the Thames Challenge Cup in 2011 and were knocked out by Upper Yarra in the final, and then came back the year after to sort of win the Brit and also make the semi-finals in the Wyfolds. They had a phenomenal squad of athletes there. Not quite the same calibre in Bedford these days, but still, I mean, getting an 8 into the Thames Challenge Cup is no mean feat. It
is the challenge, though, for these clubs, isn't it? It's to get, because the standard is so high now, the training requirement is really high, and these people have jobs and families. It's hard to keep people in the sport, isn't it?
It's exactly it. I was having this conversation with Mark Hunter earlier on, and I have utmost respect for club athletes being able to juggle what is a normal life with the basically full-time requirements of rowing at a competitive level. It's 10+ training sessions a week. You know, in the early mornings, the weekends, you lose your social time, and I can tell you from my limited experience of working full-time, I value my Lions at the weekend.
Yeah, they don't have many of them. But Lee here, really well drilled. Nice long rhythmical stroke here, and doing a good job at this opening heat for them in the Thames Challenge Cup. It's going to be a long week. They'll all have been very nervous over in the boating area just to try and get the first one under the belt. And you can see here 3:24 to the Forley mark, and it's a Star Club. And they're a veteran crew, and they've done a good job to be racing here, just not quite up to the pace of the Lee, are they?
Yeah, exactly, and credit to Lee. They are a club that have grown in stature over the past sort of decade. Every year they boat competitive crews who feature highly in the club events at Henley Regatta. So this Thames 8, I'm sure, will have one eye on tomorrow at this stage. And I don't think this is their top Lee crew. I think their faster crews are in the Wyfold and the Brit, but fair play to them. They put a few lengths into Star here.
Yeah, and here doing a good job. Again, we've had this quite often during the day, steering issues. There must be a bit of a crosswind, I think. It's really making it difficult for these crews to really just stay a straight line the whole way down the course.
But it's doubly difficult because there's no demarcation of what a straight line looks like. I mean, in the boat, it looks so simplistic when you watch the rowing on the TV, but I can tell you now from the position and perspective of being inside the boat, it's not as easy as it looks by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, even there, the coxswain, the Lee there, he's a long way ahead, but he's still having to steer onto his station because the umpires will be warning him not to get into Star Club's lane. And here's Star Club coming down. The bouncier water now, it gets difficult once you're in the wash. It's really hard to keep your rowing together when the water's much more disruptive.
Yeah, I think Lee now with the freedom of the southwest of England.
It's just like rowing in different conditions, isn't it? When you're leading here, it's nice and flat, and then when you're behind in that position, you're rowing in turbulent water.
Exactly. It's the curious thing about our sport is when you're behind, you can't see who you're chasing. It means you're rowing in their wash.
Again, a bit more steering there. It must be tricky out there for these coxers. But a really nice rhythm. Again, the lead just able to be a bit more efficient now and capitalise on the lead. They don't need to quite race it all the time. And it's a bit of a trend seeing here, these crews. There's a lot more of these crews sitting very still with their bodies in the finish, especially when the ones that are able to recover when they're winning quite comfortably. You can really see a rhythm that they're generating.
Yeah, I always think about Drew Ginn and the Australian awesome foursome and the way that they used to row, which was very, very sort of sat bolt upright at the finish with a sort of a slower finish and quite a sharp catch. And it seems like a lot of crews at club level, that technique and that effect has trickled down. You can see that in play here in Lee.
Yeah, here as the lead come past the progress boards in this heat of the Thames Challenge Cup, leading Star Club from Bedford. Making good work, making easy work of this as it turns out in the end. Lee looking really well polished, clean blade work, enjoying the crowd as they come past. And here Bedford Star coming down now, last few strokes into the finish line in this heat of the Thames Challenge Cup. And that was a comfortable win in the end for Star Club. And you can see the cheer then here from the Lee Rowing Club.